Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for this basic setup guide video where I'm going to show you how to switch over from Mailchimp to EcoSend in 4 simple steps. This will involve verifying your email domain, importing your contacts from Mailchimp, adding a website form, and creating and sending your first newsletter. So starting from EcoSend, let's jump in and create my account. All right, let's get started. So clicking through, create free account, starting with a 7-day trial. Now, the first step will be prompted to enter our email domain. This is in order to verify that we have ownership of the email domain so we can white label EcoSend communications to send from our company email address. We just need the suffix for this part, so we don't need the agent name. And if we jump into GoDaddy, which is my DNS provider, you can see that my domain name is ecosendtrialdemonstration.co.uk. So that is exactly what I will pop in here and click through continue. Now we can set this up in full now during the onboarding, but I'll actually jump to it slightly later just for the purposes of this demo video. Now in the second step is where we can add the agent prefix. So I'll enter that as Chris and Chris at ecosendtrialdemonstration.co.uk, brand and company name EcoSend. Okay, so let's just skip the billing details section and we'll now be through to our EcoSend platform. Okay, so here we are in EcoSend, and we've already had one tree planted for signing up, which you can view in the Tree Nation forest here. It was a really exciting page. You can see all the trees being planted in real time from both yourself and other EcoSend clients, and view the impact page as well to see some of this information collected over time periods, see which species are being planted, where they're being planted, and the forest impact over time. So I really love this page, but for the purposes of this demonstration, I won't spend any more time here, but do check it out in your free time once you sign up for EcoSend. So back into EcoSend, first step in this setup guide is to verify our domain. So heading to current project and domains, and it's ecosendtrialdemonstration.co.uk, I've already added in, and this is where we get all the details we need to add into our DNS provider, which EcoSend has already recognized is GoDaddy. Now, the exact steps for adding the email DNS record may vary from platform to platform. We know from the EcoSend support documentation that for GoDaddy, we need to use the record name rather than the host name, the record name being the field input here, but some providers will prefer a host name which can be copied from the information box. So let's add in the record name into GoDaddy. So we'll head into GoDaddy, add new record, and we need to create a CNAME record. So we input the record name into the name field there, and then get the value field where we have the value field in EcoSend, and copy that and enter that into GoDaddy here. TTL we will leave at half an hour. Now, all verified domains with EcoSend are automatically authenticated with both SPF and DKIM essential email authentication protocols, and we also provide additional instructions if you would like to get set up with DMARC authentication as well, which is recommended generally for larger senders. So this may take between around half an hour to verify, but once this is done, we can head back into EcoSend and add our business address and our privacy policy in order to conform with anti-spam laws. So let's add that in here now. Great, so that is our privacy policy and business address updated. And if we head back to our domain section, we can see our domain has now successfully verified. So we can request a review, and the EcoSend team will double check through our account, make sure our privacy policy and business address is all legitimate, and verify our domain to send out our first campaigns. Now in the meantime, let's crack on with importing all our users from Mailchimp. We want our audiences to pull through along with all their membership data, all their audience tags directly into EcoSend to populate our contacts area here and the properties section here, so we can continue to segment our lists as we would in our Mailchimp audience in EcoSend contacts. So if we head to current project and integrations, we've got our handy Mailchimp importer here, which will do all the heavy lifting for us. So let's just connect into our Mailchimp account to authorize the switch. Okay, so this will now authorize the importer to bring in our Mailchimp audience. So let's just allow that to take place. Great, so we've now successfully connected to our Mailchimp account, and we can see EcoSend has already recognized that I have an audience in Mailchimp ready to import. So let's jump into Mailchimp itself. So you can see I've got my audience here in Mailchimp. I've just got the one list, although within the list I've got a lot of important data like company name, company position. I've also got some tags, so some of these users are members. I also have down at the bottom a record of attendance of a previous event, which is important for my segmentation if I want to send out newsletters to members only, or a follow-up email perhaps to those who attended a recent event to cross-sell to an upcoming event. I've also got a difference between subscribed users and some unsubscribed. Now, with EcoSend, when we bring in the audience here, we've got a few key criteria. So first, we need to make sure that the email field maps onto the EcoSend email field to recognize that as a unique identifying property. You can see we've got company, which we brought onto the default EcoSend company field. For any custom properties we have, like booked webinars or some records of downloaded white paper, we'll add these as new custom properties, which will become new filters, so we can continue to segment that in EcoSend. I have a status column, which I will map onto the EcoSend status page, and making sure that company name is added on as company name and company position, bringing on to the default fields here, and creating new properties for member, as well as the attended event property. So those tags are brought through as properties. Now I'm going to make sure this toggle is kept on because I only want my subscribed contacts to come in. EcoSend charges on a profile subscription basis, so there's not much point bringing in users who I can't email. So I would just be importing the users who are subscribed, and let's get that started, confirming I have the consent to hold their data and send them messaging. Okay, so we can see the importer is churning away, bringing in our contacts with that status column nicely mapped onto our existing status column, and also all of our key tags coming through, so I can continue to filter my users by member or by attended event in order to send appropriate follow-up. So for example, coming into the properties list here, we could select for users who have attended the event and continue to pull through that same tag data we had in Mailchimp into EcoSend and toggle between those who did or did not attend the event. And if we wanted to save that as one of our lists, we could save that as attended event, and that will save onto the left-hand side here. And we can also build out our member versus non-member list by searching for the member tag and tagging that on to those who are members, and we'll save this as a new group, our member group. Great, so that is our existing audience, but we also want to start building up a new audience in our EcoSend contacts using EcoSend forms. So we want to add an EcoSend form to our website to start encouraging newsletter signups. So we'll just jump in with a basic newsletter sign-up form. Just want users' email addresses, and we'll add some best practice fields like a capture field to make sure we don't get any spam submissions. And I'll also add in an email opt-in field, which I will put in as a requirement to really point out to users that they are consenting by putting in their email to receive communications from us. Now, I also just want to style my form to be a little bit more keeping with my website. So let's just update that for the time being, and we will create that now as an iframe. Now, the great thing about this these EcoSend iframes are once they are embedded in the site, which is my Squarespace example site here, if I need to update my form at any point, that will automatically update the form on my site. I won't need to log back in and change anything. So let's just update this here to enjoy our newsletter. And then below, I'm going to add a code block and paste in the code for the EcoSend form. And as simple as that, it will look a little bit funky in the preview mode, so I will just update that to the full mode in a second, and then just resize this accordingly. Perfect, so that is now embedded straight into the site, so users can head through and submit to receive our newsletter, and we'll grow grow out our audience. As you can see, users are unable to proceed without clicking that they wish to receive emails from EcoSend. So we can start building out our first our first new user contact base from the form in our EcoSend contacts here. So we have now verified our domain, we've brought our contacts in from Mailchimp, we've added a form to the site. The final stage is let's send out our first broadcast. So heading into the broadcast section here, I've got an option between a simple email form, which is great for one-to-one personalized communication, or included in all of our paid subscriptions is one email template to be migrated from Mailchimp. So if you send over the link to the URL version of your Mailchimp newsletter, we'll bring that into you for free. So let's just jump in to a quick example of that now. Okay, so as if by magic, the EcoSend design team have brought in my first email template, which I can jump in, I can make edits, everything will be built out in code for me in the background. Don't need to touch the code. I can just go in and edit the text in the drag and drop builder. And I can also save these various blocks if I want to reuse certain areas of this email elsewhere for an automation message or for a different newsletter. I can save this as block A, block B, etc., which means I'll then have access to these blocks from the left-hand side to drag back into the canvas for later use. And there we go, I've created my first newsletter. I'll now decide who I want to receive this broadcast. Maybe I can use a pre-existing smart group I've just set up. So for example, if I wanted to send out a message to my existing members, I'll just grab that member smart group and that pulls all that list straight into the contacts view here. And I'll schedule it to send at a good time, which I know to be 5 minutes past 10 on Friday mornings. So we'll set that through. Name and purpose, first newsletter. And we are now good to go. So let's go through and we'll make sure that is all ready to go. And I'll click schedule and send off my first broadcast. So there you go. That is how easy it is to get migrated from Mailchimp into EcoSend, to verify your domain, to import your audience from Mailchimp along with their associated tags, create your first smart groups, add a newsletter form to your website, and send out your first newsletter. I hope you found this basic demonstration helpful. Thanks very much for watching.